There are hundreds of hidden clues inside this painting, and almost all of them are flowers. That sounds harmless at first because this is Botticelli's Primavera, one of the most beautiful paintings ever made, a painting about spring, love, Venus, dancing women, orange trees, mythology, beauty. But the more you look at it, the stranger it becomes, because these flowers are not just decoration. They are not there to make the painting prettier. They are the code, and once you start reading them properly, the painting changes completely. Because Primavera is not simply a painting about spring, it is a painting about desire, violence, love, marriage, death, and rebirth. And Botticelli hid most of that story in the ground, beneath everyone's feet. At first, your eye probably goes to the figures. There are 9 of them standing in a dark orange grove. Venus is in the center. Cupid floats above her. The 3 Graces dance on the left. Mercury stands at the edge, lifting his staff toward the clouds, and on the far right, a blue figure bursts into the scene, grabbing a young woman as flowers spill from her mouth. Most people try to solve the painting by identifying the people, but Botticelli gives us another way in. The lower part of the painting is packed with plants: daisies, violets, roses, carnations, cornflowers, strawberries, myrtle, orange trees, and dozens of other species. Some studies count hundreds of individual plant details, and the Uffizi says Botticelli painted at least 42 identifiable species with remarkable accuracy. That is not accidental. This is not just a meadow. It is a second language, and Botticelli is asking us to read it. The first clue is on the far right. This is Zephyrus, the west wind. And the woman he is grabbing is Chloris, a nymph from classical mythology. In Ovid's Fasti, Chloris tells the story herself. She says she was walking in spring when Zephyrus saw her. She fled. He pursued her. He was stronger, and afterward, he made her his bride and transformed her into Flora, the goddess of flowers. That is why flowers are coming out of her mouth. It is not a random, surreal detail. It is the exact moment of transformation. Chloris is becoming Flora, and this is where the painting becomes uncomfortable. Because the birth of spring does not begin gently. It begins with fear. Zephyrus rushes in like a cold wind. Chloris twists away from him. Her body is pale. Her face is startled. She does not look peaceful. She looks like someone being overtaken by a force she cannot control. But then, just beside her, we see the result. Flora. She is calm, fully dressed, covered in flowers. She scatters blossoms across the ground like she has become the garden itself. It is almost as if Botticelli is showing us 3 stages at once: a woman being pursued, a woman transforming, a goddess creating spring. And the clue connecting all 3 is the flowers. Now look at Flora's dress. It is not just patterned with flowers. It is almost made of them. Roses and blossoms cover her body, and the flowers she throws are not simply pretty. They are signs of fertility, love, and marriage. That matters because Primavera may have been made for a Medici household, possibly in connection with marriage. It was not originally hanging in a church or a public museum. It was in a private elite home, surrounded by people who would have understood classical myths, poetry, plant symbolism, and family politics. So when Botticelli fills the painting with flowers associated with love, purity, fertility, and marriage, he is not just painting nature. He is painting a world where raw desire is being transformed into social order. Chloris becomes Flora. Panic becomes beauty. Violence becomes spring. And the garden blooms because something has been changed. But not every plant in this painting is innocent. That is the part I find most interesting. Because hidden among the flowers of love and fertility are darker plants, plants that have been associated with death, transience, bad luck, or instability. and many of them are clustered near the right side of the painting, close to Zephyrus and Chloris. In other words, the darker plants appear where the darker story is happening. Botticelli is not letting us forget that spring comes out of winter, that beauty comes out of violence, that life does not arrive cleanly. There is death under this garden. There is fear under this beauty. And once you notice that, the painting starts to feel less like a celebration and more like a transformation machine. It takes the ugly, the chaotic, the uncontrollable parts of human life and turns them into flowers. Now move to the center. This is Venus. But Botticelli does something strange with her. She is the goddess of love, but she is not nude, not seductive, not dramatic. She is modestly dressed, almost like a sacred figure. The trees behind her open around her body like a halo or an arch. And behind her is myrtle, a plant sacred to Venus. So the whole garden is, in a sense, her garden. She stands between the violent scene on the right and the graceful dance on the left, between raw desire and refined love, between instinct and harmony. Venus is not doing much physically, but compositionally, she controls everything. She is the still point. The painting moves around her. Above her is Cupid, blindfolded, aiming his arrow. That blindfold matters. Love is powerful, but it is not rational. It does not see clearly. It strikes where it wants. And his arrow appears to point toward the three graces, three elegant figures dancing together in transparent white. They look weightless, almost unreal. Their hands link together in a circle, creating rhythm, beauty, and harmony. If the right side is love as force, this side is love as grace. Not the chase, not the panic, but love transformed into elegance, manners, music, and social beauty. Then, at the far left, there is Mercury. He is easy to ignore because he is turned away from almost everyone else. But that makes him even stranger. He is not dancing. He is not looking at Venus. He is not involved in the drama. He raises his caduceus toward the clouds, as if clearing them from the garden. So if Zephyrus brings the wild wind of spring into the painting, Mercury seems to be pushing disorder back out. He is the boundary, the guardian, the figure who keeps this strange garden protected. And even around Mercury, the plants change meaning. Some are associated not just with love or fertility, but with reason, knowledge, and spiritual refinement. So the painting seems to move from right to left, from instinct to intellect, from pursuit to harmony, from bodily desire to something more elevated. The flowers are not scattered randomly. They help guide that movement. And then there are the orange trees. The whole scene takes place in a grove full of oranges, which is another clue. Oranges were associated with the Medici, the powerful Florentine family connected to Botticelli's world. So this is not just a mythological garden, it is also a Medici garden, a place of wealth, culture, poetry, and power. To a Renaissance viewer, this painting was not only beautiful, it was intelligent. It was designed for people who could decode Ovid, mythology, philosophy, family symbols, and botanical science. It was a painting that rewarded knowledge. And maybe that is why it still feels mysterious, because we can see the beauty instantly, but the meaning only appears slowly. And the more you look, the more it feels like Botticelli built two paintings at once. The first painting is the one everyone sees, a graceful spring scene. Venus, flowers, dancing women, mythological beauty. But the second painting is hidden in the plants. The daisies and violets speak of modest love and purity. The roses and carnations point toward marriage and fertility. The strawberry near Chloris suggests temptation and sensual pleasure. The darker plants near Zephyrus hint at death, instability, and the violence underneath spring. The myrtle marks Venus's sacred garden. The oranges whisper Medici power. So the flowers are doing what the figures alone cannot do. They tell us what kind of love we are looking at. Not one simple love, but many kinds. Blind love, violent love, fertile, married, and spiritual love. Love as desire, love as danger, love as civilization. And that may be the real hidden message of Primavera. Spring is not innocent. Spring is transformation. It is the moment when what was buried comes back to life, when the dead ground flowers again, when desire becomes beauty, when chaos is arranged into order. That is why the painting is so full of flowers, not because Botticelli wanted to decorate the scene, but because the flowers are the scene. They are the evidence that something has happened here. A woman has been transformed, a garden has been awakened. Love has entered the world, but not in one simple form. It arrives blind, violent, beautiful, fertile, dangerous, and divine. And Botticelli leaves the proof everywhere. Not in one hidden symbol, not in a tiny corner, but spread across the entire ground, beneath everyone's feet, hundreds of clues, hiding in plain sight. So the next time you see Primavera, don't start with Venus. Don't start with the three graces. Start with the flowers, because that is where Botticelli hid the story.